All right, well, welcome again to our Executive Director, Program Director, all stakeholders meeting. Happy you're all able to be with us here this morning. I do want to go ahead and get started. I've got a few things on my agenda. And then, of course, I've got others who are also going to present today. So let's go ahead. Just want to make sure that those of you who are federally funded, your members who are present at our CPPC full council will be getting a presentation from Dr. Funk. She did present to us here, and now she will present at our CPPC, again, focused on flu and vaccinations and making sure that we're able to talk to parents about it, but also then giving them information that we're asking that they will be sharing as parents with your parent groups at your facilities as well. And so it's just another way for us to get the information out there. I'm sure everybody is keeping their eyes and ears to the pavement and can see that we are in the midst of a triple pandemic. We've got COVID-19 rearing its ugly head. One thing that we had not seen in a while are the numbers going up. And I know when I'm watching the news very early in the morning, when it scrolls across the bottom of the screen, it gives us our numbers. And then also for the city of Chicago, for state of Illinois, the number of deaths. And so we're there again. And I just want to remind everybody of our responsibility of trying to do everything we can to keep ourselves and our families safe. And when I say families, your extended family are all of those parents and children and staff that you have within your organizations. And so just wanting us to continue to be mindful of it. At the same time, flu, which we did not have in 2020. And because COVID, we were all, locked away. We were not out and about connecting with each other publicly, and we are now. And so flu, influenza A has reared its ugly head in our communities. And many of us, either individually or family members, are suffering through flu as we speak. And at the same time, because we serve young children, and also adults can get it. So let me not leave you off that measuring stick either. RSV is out there. So we've got all three of these all at the same time. And these are all three respiratory illnesses, as Dr. Funk talked about before, and I'm just repeating some of that, that are very, very serious illnesses. And we all have to do our best to stay safe and healthy. And that's what I'm just repeating again. Please, everyone, be mindful of the fact where we are. In a week or so, we're all going to be doing what we do every year at this time when we can, and that's gathering with families and friends around the holidays. And so, again, just a message of caution to everybody. I'm not going to tell anybody not to enjoy family, because right now I know we want to continue to wrap our arms around our family members. We just need to do it in such a way that allows all of us to remain healthy and safe. And so I'm going to get off of my soapbox there. Just as, those reminders, when family cares about family, family talks to family about the things that family needs to hear. So that's why you're hearing it from me this morning. One of the things as a reminder, as you are looking at your building closures over the holiday season, this is a great time to take advantage of those days that your sites are going to be closed to do some deep cleaning. If you've not done it and you are thinking about doing, I just want to remind for those of you, and I'm going to say it again, for federally funded, those of you that are federally funded, you got COVID dollars. They can be used for those deep cleanings. And so please take advantage of that. Get those sites clean, because again, we know when we're able to do some of that, we're also able to combat some of what's going on with these viruses. So take advantage of it. Don't let this pass you up as an opportunity. It's hard to do it when the buildings are open every day. But I know some of you are closed for some days over the holiday. One of the things that I'm excited about, I did have a chance to do a site visit this week. It's always great to be in with children and getting to see those faces and seeing programs operate. And I am asking again, I want to see as many as I can over the next couple of months. My schedule is wildy, it's crazy, but I do want to be out and about and seeing as many sites as I possibly can. If you have some dates that you think would be great for me to come out and see you, get in touch with Jocelyn Buchanan, my assistant, so she can get some of those dates on the calendar and try to work those through. I sit in this seat all the time, but I know what you're doing out there. I just love to be able to put faces to names, but more than anything, I love all of you adults. Believe me, I love you guys. I just miss seeing the kids, people. I really do. And I just want to see the babies. So when I come, I want to see the babies, y'all. Okay. So that's what I'm asking for, is opportunities to come and be able to do some of that. So again, reach out to Jocelyn and let her know some dates that might work for you. I do want to acknowledge a staff change. Many of you, when you had budgeting and scopes and things like that, you were working with Zariah Miranda. She has been promoted within the city of Chicago, and she's taking on a new role. And so she's moved out of DFSS. But we do want you, if you do have any questions regarding budget scopes in your contracts, reach out to Alejandra Ortiz. She is the manager who is over that unit here in the division. So just wanted to make sure everybody understood and had heard that from my mouth. One of the things that I am also working on is our current IGA for CPS, which is our early childhood block grant funding. There is an increase in the block grant, and DFSS will be getting increased in dollars for PFAPI. I am working through getting our IGA from us back to CPS. They will let me know, and that at that point we'll determine, are there any stipulations around the funding and how it can be used. And so there's more information to come. The IGA has to go in front of the CPS board before we can actually activate anything. So I just need everybody to understand their board meetings are in the spring after the board meetings. All of that will be embedded in the new IGA, and then we will be affecting contract and budget amendments for any one of you or all of you, based on the stipulations in the funding, what those changes will be. So more to come. I know there's questions about it because everybody has heard about the increase in ECBG funding across the state. Just want to make sure that you understand the process here. Again, it gets embedded into our IGA. The IGA goes through the board meeting in the spring through CPS. And after that, then we're able to affect whatever changes we are going to be changing in our funding that goes out to you. So more to come. Our federal dollars for CARES, CRSA, and ARP we're extending those through March of 2023. I do know some of you had declined, and I know the staff have been working to reach out to you to say, do you still want your dollars now that we were able to extend them? Because some people didn't feel they'd be able to spend them within that time frame, and I understood that as well. And so we are extending those dollars through March of 2023. There is one piece of work that I do have to do around the CARES dollar, CRSA, and ARP are fine. And I'm working on that as well to make sure that those dollars are not affected. So working on all of the things that I've said above. And the last thing that I have on mine, and I just want to talk a little bit about the fact that we are working in an industry where I'm constantly hearing, and you're working through it and acknowledging it firsthand, everything that's going on in your classrooms. You've got staff shortages. I'm going to say that. I know that's what's going on. On top of that, you've got children whose behaviors are very difficult right now. And then you got adults who are suffering. And so what I'm saying is I just want us to continue to stay on top of what's going on within our programs regarding behavior. But one of the things I just want us to be mindful of is, as we're working through all of this, again, if we're to avoid some of the things that happen in classrooms as far as incidents with children that involve staff, is if we're staying on top of our staff, we have a better understanding of their emotional state, and we can step in and get some movement from them out of a classroom and things that we can do before something occurs. And so just want us to all be mindful of what's going on with the individuals that's in our service, and staying on top of that and doing everything we can to affect whatever circumstances you can, making sure that your staff know, hey, you need to say you need to take a moment to come out of the classroom. We're going to give you that moment. Somebody else is going to go in and cover. Whatever systems you have in place, please wrap those around your classrooms. Because again, this is about keeping children safe, but it's also about working with your staff and making sure that they're able to feel successful in all of this. We are working in a very difficult time right now, and we recognize that. And however we can support our children, I'm asking us to do that. The trauma attuned practices, this is a download of a video that is on eClick. It actually launched in May of 2022. But it's great if you've already seen it. It's great to repeat it and see it again. There's a lot of different strategies in there around things that you can do. This was done in California, but we know that the things that are relevant across the nation with staff shortages and everything that's going on in classrooms. And so I just put this link on here so that you'd have another resource. Also, if you remember, we put mental health corner on our CSD update. We're going to start putting more resources there as well. Yes, I'll drop the link in the chat. But I just want to make sure that everybody understands the opportunity for all of these things is to keep our eyes and ears open. Be mindful of what's going on with your staff. If your staff tells you they're frustrated, imagine them being in a classroom frustrated with 4 or 5 children that are only going to frustrate them more. So let's think about it in advance and let's just step up and step in as early as we can, because this again is about avoiding us getting into an incident in our classroom, but it really is about supporting those staff. And that's what they really need right now. We've got people leaving in droves, and we've got to find a way to keep these individuals in our field, or we're going to have a really, really hard time operating classrooms in the next year. So again, those are my updates. Wanted to give you those from me, and I'm now going to turn it over to the next person, and I will put the link in the chat.
Thank you, Sarapa. That was a really good segue, because I wanted to mention to the, I'm B. Nichols. I wanted to mention about the trauma-informed delegate work group that we are going to be working with. These are the delegate agencies that the Office of Head Start Research Pilot is working with. And so we're going to be working with this team of delegates. We had a very rich, a very invigorating, a very enlightening conversation that we want to bring some of this information to all of you that they're using in the pilot, some really good resources. And as Rachel mentioned, the biggest resource that we have is one another. And so we're going to be working very closely with bringing this information to all of you so that you have it. And involving our mental health provider, which is on the line today, SGA. So we're looking forward to that in the new year. I want to give you a couple of other updates for facilities. And so I want to remind the Early Head Start CCP agencies that we had an overview of the 120 water audit portal. We walked you through the portal, reminding you that there are things that you need to upload. And so I'll ask Mara to go to the picture, the first picture that we have. Next slide. This particular picture I wanted to share with you because it gives you a visual of the signage that needs to take place. Whenever you have a fixture that is over 2.1 parts per billion in lead, you need to post at these various fixtures that this is water that you cannot use to drink. It's only for hand washing. You need to be able to take some of these fixtures either offline or repair them or replace them. I like this particular visual because you can see that this picture, even if you can't read the language is there in Spanish and English. And it's also there visually that you know that this particular faucet should not be used for drinking or toothbrushing. If you can go to the next slide. This visual is to remind you that you need to post your mitigation plan. If you have any fixtures that tested with exceedances, there needs to be a mitigation plan that tells anyone, parents, staff, visitors, licensing reps, RDFSS monitors, what you are doing to remediate that lead. And so I've selected this picture because this particular agency decided to post it on your parent board, which is fine. I'm also recommending that you have your mitigation plan next to your operating license. Why? Because your licensing reps are in and out of your centers, and this shows them that you're staying on top of what remediation needs to take place. Next visual. Next slide. Thank you. Also, a reminder that we have those letter templates. This particular one that I'm showing you is the one that's signed by our deputy commissioner. And it tells parents, other stakeholders that we're serious about taking these toxins out of our drinking water. And so this is the first letter that should be posted. It's all right if it's dated back in 2019, because this is when we started this. There is also a secondary letter that you as EDPDs and CEOs also sign. That particular one will have your agency logo in the area where you see our logo. You will have an accompanying letter. If there are any affected fixtures, you'll have a third letter. And in that letter, it will identify your specific strategies for remediating the leak. Does not take the place of your remediation plan. You'll have your plan as well, but this letter will accompany, and it should be posted on your parent board or any highly visible area at your center. If we can go back to the first slide, all the way back. Thanks. All right. That is it for me, unless you all have any questions as it's related to any of these topics. And you can put them in the chat and I'll go through and respond. And just from me to you, have a very joyous holiday season. I hope it's very safe for you and that you do enjoy food, fun, and family. That's important. Thank you. Next presenter.
Thank you, B. Good morning, everyone. Going to get a financial updates. So we have the current expenditure rates. I'll begin with Head Start. We're running about 65% expended. Early Head Start, 52% expended. Early Head Start CCP, we're about 54%. Early Head Start expansion, around 50%. ECBG, we're around 14%, and CCAP at 21%. Some updates as it relate to FY22. Our CRRSA and CARES budget review are in process and are near complete. CSD has decided to extend contract and budget terms to March 31st of 23. Award letters are in progress. Finance will extend the budget end date on the current budget. No revisions are needed. December 22 expenses will need to be reported on accrual to your finance contact in order to meet the comptroller's closeout deadlines. COLA budgets are near complete. Please reach out if you do not have an approved budget by next week. The DFSS finance team is sending notifications of budget approvals to move forward with the invoice submission. And all COLA and 2022 invoices must be submitted by 1/20/23. The fiscal year 23 updates, just letting you know the award letters are in progress. Budget training invitation for HHS program scheduled on Wednesday, 12/21 should have been received. Please reach out to Sharon Davis if you did not receive a meeting invite. December 2022 expenses will need to be reported on accrual to your finance contact in order to meet the comptroller's closeout deadlines. Once your budget is approved in the system, you would submit the invoice in iSupplier. as it relates to FY23 childcare. Invoices should be submitted up through November 30th of 22. Monthly invoice submission is required. Invoices related to 22 period covered deadline is 1/2023. FY23 PFA PI invoices should be submitted up through November 30th of 22. Monthly invoice submission is required, and invoices related to the 2022 period covered deadline is 1/2023. iSupplier, we have training and reference material at that link below. New site form requirement is information listed on the slide as well. Your finance contacts as it relates to Head Start, Early Head Start, CCP and EXP is Laverne Coleman. Corporate and RTL, Laverne Coleman. Childcare, Selena. PIPFA is Sharon Davis, because of Monica has been promoted. So send all emails to Sharon Davis.
If we can go back to the slides about the funding, every time it gets shown, I have to chime right back in. If you're looking at this December to November, that's December to November of last month. And what you see in front of you, based on what is in systems that we can see on our side, is our Head Start grant is 65% expended, which means there's money still on the table. Early Head Start, 52%, almost 50% of it still on the table. Same thing with CCP and expansion. And so that contract is ended November 30th. And now you're putting in your invoices and your final invoices for that particular grant. And so what we're working on here in the division and in the department is to ensure and work with you to make sure that we're getting monthly invoicing, because when we get to this point, also the Office of Head Start can see the low expenditures because they can see into our system. They have a window into this, that they're not blinded by this. They can see this. So they're very, very concerned about our low utilization of our funding. Same thing, and you can go to the next slide for PFA-PI. ECBG, that contract started in July, and it is now December, and we're 14% expended. We should be 50% or more expended because we are halfway through that grant, and we, again, only have 14% expended. Same thing with CCAP. I just need everybody out there to hear my voice. These funders know this. They already see this. They see a window into what's going out the door, and they are very, very concerned. CPS is putting language in their IGA around the requirement for monthly invoicing, because they need to keep track of dollars in order to be able to say at what point they're going to pull the trigger, which they have within their right to pull dollars back from DFSS, because if they're not being expended, then CPS won't be able to do what they need to do with the dollars within their funding to make sure that it doesn't go back to the state. And so we're going to have to do a lot of things differently in order for us to maintain these levels. You heard me say earlier, we're going to get an additional amount of dollars on our ECBG grant. But if we're not expending it, I can just guarantee you we're not going to be able to continue to do this. We have what's called a SteerCo meeting on a monthly basis, where the mayor's office, CPS, and DFSS are together. The finance issues come up where they're looking and talking about where we're under enrolled and under expended. And so these are issues that are being leveled all the way up, and we have got to be able to do better. We're going to start having monthly meetings, and I'm going to do some individual meetings with agencies where I'm looking at expenditure rates, because I really need to have a better understanding of why the low expenditures. I know that there's staffing issues, but I need to understand what else is going on, because I have got to be able to respond and answer for why the dollars are not being expended, because what it looks like year over year is there's too much money in these pots that are, because we're not able to use it. And so if they're not going to go out to you and those dollars is going to go somewhere else and be done something else with, and I don't want to see that happen. And so I want to say to you that I want to work with everyone who's funded either federally or state, CCAP, ECBG, Head Start, to figure out how can we ensure that we're making the best use of these dollars. There's opportunities to do budget revisions, and I know some people are taking advantage of that and have done some of that. But when we are at the end of a grant cycle, as we are for a Head Start grant, where we are only 50% or can see only 50%, I have to hope and think that there's got to be massive numbers of invoices in your hands to the tune of over 50% of these funds. But I also am a realist, and I don't think there is. And so I know that we're going to expend these grants again. Office of Head Start is not going to continue to sit back and do it any more than the state of Illinois. And so we want to work with you, but we need to talk about it and figure out how we can best support. So there will be some meetings with agencies where we're looking at low expenditure rates to try to get a better handle on it, to see how we can best support you. So more to come. I just wanted to make sure that everybody heard that. And please expect some meeting invites so that we can have discussions, and this will be specifically around your fiscal arm of your organization. Thank you. So we are at the end. This was a short one, it's a lot of information, but a shorter meeting. I want to open it up and see if there's any questions. I'm going to go to chat to see if there's anything that's been put in there. Is there anything from anyone? We know that we are all right there at the holiday season. Many of you and others are going to be off somewhere near the Christmas holiday and that week in between, and wanting to make sure that you know that we're still here. DFSS does not close. Some of us are going to take some days off, but DFSS does not close, and we're still going to be here to support you through the holiday season. If your agencies are closed, I requested before that you inform your team lead so that they know who's open and who's not. So as we're hearing things across the city of Chicago, we know who to reach out to and who's not open. So again, if you've not done that, please do so. If there's staff changes at your organization, especially in leadership, please send an email, and please include me in that in email so that I can make sure that all the documentation that needs to be updated gets updated, so that we can make sure that we're sending emails and invites and other things to the right people. So I'm going to stop there, give it a moment, see if I have any questions. You can unmute or put it in the chat if you have any questions for us.
I have one question in regards to the new CARES system. Are there any updates regarding the system? And then I know there is one glitch that I talked about in office hour because we have that SNAP eligibility for families regardless of their income. That was a glitch that if you put the income in, then they'll qualify for PI and PFA, but they won't qualify for EHS expansion and CCP. So I wanted to know, have we got any updates on that? And then some of the systems won't, staff still is having trouble with accessing some of the prompts for completing family income and things like that. So just want to know if there's any updates on the CARES system.
Or is that Janola talking?
Yes.
Okay. Thank
I'm
you.
sorry.
That's okay. I thought I was hearing the right voice. I just want to make sure. So CARES. I breathe in and I breathe out. It's been a long haul here trying to make sure that we got everything done that we needed to get done in the CARES system. So there was one glitch, and you're absolutely right with the SNAP. In order for us to have SNAP as an option, we had to go all the way back and make sure that it was updated in SchoolMint, which is the application system, so that it then would be a connection in the CARES system for your applications and your enrollment of your children. And so I know Craig worked with them to make sure that that is being done so that we can get beyond that glitch, because you're absolutely right. If you're doing a blended child, that PFA PI income is one thing, but if you put in SNAP, it's categorically eligibility for the federal grants. And so we've worked to take care of that. There is still work being done in the CARES system. It is not fully loaded. It is not completely done. The PI home base training and everything that needs to be done for CARES will be done after the holiday, and is going to be done after holiday for a couple of reasons. One, because people are in and out, but beyond that, we're having to go back in and work on the program options that are in there, because we noted that a couple of program options specifically related to home-based and home visiting was not in CARES. So we're having to do some updates. Once we can get all of that updated, there will be more training on that in CARES and SchoolNet. So more to come on all of those. I know there's some trainings that's being done this month. I'm not saying that those are not going to go on, but more specific trainings regarding the ones that we're talking about regarding home-based PI, early Head Start expansion, for example, will be done after the Christmas break, so that we can focus in on those, knowing that the systems are updated and aligned. Making sure that everybody is in CARES has been one of our focuses. We're just getting some agencies in the system. I usually go in every day trying to see how many kids are in there. I know that all of our children are not represented in CARES because everybody hasn't built out their classrooms and enrolled their children. And so we still have not gotten there. And so my plea to all of you is that you get your kids in the system. My staff are still calling and doing enrollment using an Excel spreadsheet to try to capture it, because everything is not in CARES, trying to keep us updated on who we're serving out there. But we need everybody in CARES. And I do recognize that there are some pieces that are not there. To what you just asked about, Janola, that is some work that has, Craig has been working with the vendor on getting some of that corrected, so that that is no longer an issue for you all out there in the field. But on the other side of getting in and enrolling, staff accessing and making sure that they're using their accounts going in the system, we, asked for a report. We could see that some emails, access had been set up, but individuals had never gone into the system. And we've been in the system now since August. And I still have some agencies that, as of last week, classrooms were not set up. So we're doing more assessment, and we're going to do targeting to make sure that everybody's in it, and to find out what other issues there are. Stacy on my side and others are working hard with the vendor and Craig to make sure that whatever glitch or problem that we find, that they're rectifying it as quickly as possible.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Ms. Sarita. This is Shonda from Lakeview. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Shonda?
Fine. Question. When we first started the CARES process, I was on the assumption from a beginning of the meetings that DFSS were going to enroll our children. That's no longer the case, and we need to enroll our own children. Can you please verify that for me?
Okay, let me say this, Shonda. We were never going to enroll your children. What we did was a rollover of children that were currently in the system. If they were in COPA, they rolled over into the CARES system. And so what you were able to do is see your children and then move them into your correct classrooms on your side of CARES.
Oh, okay. So this is okay. I'm putting in the chat because I need to know who do I contact, because none of my children are even rolled over into the system. And then I have children I have never even heard of that are in my system. That makes, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so well, we have some work to do. Thanks for lifting it. Put it in the chat so that we can get in touch with you and make sure that we try to figure out what's going on.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a happy holiday.
Same to you. Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, I guess I'm wondering within CARES if there's any update on when we might get training and the ability to also drop or remove children from classrooms. Where, we do see some turnover, and we're at the point where what's in the system does not reflect who we're actually serving, because we can't enroll children because all of our slots are currently showing up as full, because we're not able to drop children whose families have moved or who have stopped attending. And so we're stuck with a snapshot that reflects mid-October as opposed to what's happening right now.
Thanks for lifting that, Meg. What I will be doing directly after this meeting is having a chat to make sure that the system is up and allowing you to do that. And if it is to get you trainings, and if there's a glitch because you can't, then we'll find out exactly what that is so that we can get some updates out to you on what to do around that. Thanks for lifting it, Meg. Anyone else?
Hi, Sarita. This is Deanna, Holy Family.
Hi.
My question is, we just got our attendance issues resolved. We were not able to put in our attendance as of to date, but they just resolved it. Do we now go back and put in all of that attendance from August?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, hi, this is Althea Bell from All Star Kids.
Hi.
We, all of our children, parents have gone in and actually went and put their children into, families in to attend our school. But when we look for the child is not there.
So they put their children into School Mint.
Yes,
And so when you go into School Mint, you're not getting the applications from the parents.
no,
Are you sure that the parents are selecting the correct site when they go in? Because when they do the application, they choose which site that they want to enroll their child. And then that system then should make sure that those children are on the list for your organization.
I actually sat here with one of the parents.
Okay,
And they said that the child would not show up for, I think it was 24 to 48 hours, and I've been looking, and that was back in maybe the end of October, and I still
okay.
don't see the child.
Could you put that in the chat for me, Althea, so that my staff can capture that as well?
Okay.
And so your issue is on the School Mint side?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank
Mhm.
you. If you can put that in the chat for me so we can work on that one as well.
Okay,
And
all right,
thank you. Mhm. Anyone else? Thank you, Sarah, for saying that. Any other questions? Any other concerns? I know, again, I just, and I said it before, we took off from, I say Midway because it's closest to us, in a plane that didn't have wings yet. And so I know all of you are thinking, then how did we get this thing elevated? And it was because of DFSS staff under it and holding it up. We are still trying to get all the necessary and required parts built on this plane. HR is being finalized, so the HR system will be up in CARES. We are looking at making sure that there's opportunities. Right now, PD is being done still through COPA. We're moving that over to CARES once we can get that built out. So we're still building this system. You should be able to find your children. So apologies to those of you who are still tackling issues on that side. You should be able to add funding to all of your children so that we can make sure that we know the funding that is attached. You should be able to add and drop. So all of those things where I'm hearing there's still glitches are things that we still need to be working on. And we'll continue to do so. This is a brand new system. When we worked to do this, we did not use what is traditionally done. Salesforce has out of the box pieces, and we had them literally develop every issue and every piece of our system from scratch. So it's been a lot of work to get us here. And as you know, you build something and there are glitches in it. And so we are experiencing some of those. And for those, I truly apologize because I want not to be adding to your work on your side of this. I really want you to be able to focus in on your children and your staff. So I do apologize that we're still not there yet. We're still moving in the right direction. And I thank all of you for staying with us, the course through all of this. I beg of you to stay with us over these next few months as we continue to work on this system and get it where it needs to be. So that you have a system in front of you where your staff and you can go in and see what's going on with each and every one of your children and families, as you should be able to do. And that is exactly what we want for all of you. Thank you, Will, for your comment as well. We're going to stay on this. We're going to make it work. We're going to make it happen. The last thing I'm going to say, I'm going to say happy pre-Friday because, Fridays are great days of the week for all of us, because that means after that, there's a 2-day time frame for us to kind of, get some respite and some relief. But even before you do that, I want you to think about yourselves in all of this as well. And my staff stay on me, and as well they should, you know, because I am truly a workaholic. But I need you to take care of yourselves, because each and every one of you who are hearing my voice, I need y'all. We all need you. We need to continue to do this work for our children and our families in the city of Chicago. You are needed. You are cherished in my heart, and I thank you. I thank each and every one of you for everything that you do each and every day. I know the work is not easy. I know that it is really difficult. I know that we're not making it better when we have a system that's not up and going. But I thank you. I thank you for everything that you do each and every day. And let's stay in the fight. Let's continue to do everything that we can for all of our children and families and ourselves. And happy holidays to all of you. Since I saw you last, I, got a little older, had a birthday last week. But, age is a beauty. When you can sit here and say, I'm still here with you, I plan to be with you. And I hope that all of you are going to stay the course and be with us as we move forward. So thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day and happy holidays to each and every one of you. Anyone who I don't speak to between now and the beginning of January, love on yourself, love on your families, let people love on you. Have a great one, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
I go for the groceries.